Hey guys, welcome back to the Furtado Group. I'm Ruben Furtado, and today is a scorcher. It's super hot, but I'm actually super excited because we are here at Yolanda. If you guys were watching some of the previous videos, we would have mentioned this property, and we haven't talked about it for a while because it's been stuck in the permit process. So there's actually a lesson learned in the permit process that I want to share with you in this video. But today we're actually here to meet with the homeowner and really to help now start really expediting things because we're so far behind because of the permits. We really need to get things moving. So a couple quick things I want to share with you before we head inside is, while we were here, we were actually looking at the house, and we're going to be changing the elevation quite substantially. And I honestly think it would be an absolute shame if we're going to spend all this time and money, right, on the front and really not being able to see it. One of the biggest things that's going to have an impact is that one tree that you're seeing there. So right now today we came to the conclusion that we're going to remove that tree. Even though I love trees, you'll notice that one's kind of sitting crooked. It's not the greatest tree, and it is really close to the house. So later on, when you see this project finish, you guys tell me whether that was a great decision. So the other thing now, regarding the permit process, here's what happened. We did a small little overhang in the back, creating like a covered porch area. And unfortunately, the architect included that in his design, but didn't realize that we actually had to go for a site plan approval when doing that, because we're actually changing the footprint, even though it was just an overhang. So what that did is we had to get surveys and so forth. What ended up happening is when the city got it, they looked at it, had it for a couple weeks, and then said, hey, you guys don't have everything. So one of the inspectors there, you know, he gave me a really good example. He goes, hey, and he actually had these neon markers. And he's like, hey, I want you to think of this. For you to actually apply for a permit, I need these 4 colors. And he shows me these 4 neon markers. And he's like, if you only give me 3, what ends up happening is he'll have it for a couple weeks, and then he'll realize, hey, you're missing the 4th color. Then he's going to ask for the 4th color, and only then does the clock start ticking in terms of their service agreements of how quickly they have to get stuff back to you. So it's really important. Make sure that you understand everything you need in that application when you're submitting, and make sure everything's there, because it literally will keep on coming back and forth, and that will drag everything out. So guys, let's head inside, because I want to talk about some of the changes and some of the things that we actually got as our to-do list as a result of today's meeting. So this is what we were waiting so long for. So we got that now, and that's our permits, and we also have our stickers on our window. So Andrew just left, but we actually came up with a number of things that we're going to be doing over the next few days to really get things moving along here. So one of the things that's really, really important is we want to go out and already start selecting our vanities and all our fixtures, washroom fixtures. Why? Is because right now, one of the vanities we might look at might be on special, or they may not have the one we want in stock, so it might change the size, and we could still, without affecting our permit process, is actually bump out a wall here or there to really accommodate it. So we want to make sure we have that figured out. Also, another thing I want to point out is around the windows here in the back. So this area here that looks really choppy right now, this is going to be the family room, and that's going to be the rear yard, and then this is going to be a side yard. There's going to be a covered porch here, or covered patio, really, not a covered porch. And so we thought, let's make access to that covered patio. So we're going to have a set of double doors here, actually triple doors, sliding doors, and then massive window here. The only thing is we really started thinking about the placement of furniture. So one of the decisions that was made right now today was to get rid of this door, because we have another door very close to where that covered patio is going to be, and that'll be the access point. We don't necessarily have to have one right beside it, and that's going to allow us to really utilize this room in placing furniture. So I think it's really, really important when you're designing a house. Don't just think of what the house is going to look like when it's finished, but where's the furniture going to go? So another critical thing is that even though the client's actually talked to the stair company, has already sourced out the stairs, he hasn't given them a green light and actually designing the stair. So we already have an idea of the concept that we're going to go with. We want to keep it very open. We don't want to go a full open riser. If we put a stringer down the side, that's really, really common. So you're going to see we're going to do something slightly different. But what's really important here is before they start going really gangbusters on the framing, is we want the stair guy to come in here and engineer the stairs for us, because that's going to dictate how long and where the stairs stop and where they end at the top. And that's then going to dictate where the walls get framed. So a lot of times I see, the framers go in, they do everything related to the framing, stair guy comes in, and all of a sudden they're now trying to force fit a set of stairs in there that don't necessarily make sense. So always remember, have your stair guy engaged immediately before the framing actually gets started. All right, guys. So the other thing that we were talking about today, which is really important, you want to talk about early on in the construction, is going to be your landscaping design. All too often I see people actually come up with a great elevation of a home, all their windows and doors and the cladding, but really then trying to figure out the landscaping separately. The reason why this is a bit of a mistake is if we could figure out where there's going to be an elevation change, where there's going to be a step, we can then figure out where we want the cladding to stop on with one material so it lines up maybe with a step. So here, what we figured out is from the top of the door, sorry, not the top of the door, but the front entrance where you have the threshold of the door, to where the driveway is, there's about 20, I think it was 28 inches. So that's going to require somewhere around 4 different steps. So now what we figure out is to keep this as clean as possible, we want this to be a very long platform at the very top. And then if you look here to make it a little bit more interesting, is what we're going to do is we're going to actually hook the first step in on the inside. Very similar to what you see here, but the grading will change. But this step will lock around the side of the very first poured pad. And then to get that extra step, what I like doing is actually projecting it out further so it looks like it's locking in front of the garage. And then there's going to be the next pad that's going to also come across at this width will be the step, and the same width that's here will return on that side. So you're going to have 2 natural steps up into here, up to the top pad, and from the top pad then you're going to go up into the threshold. That gets us our 4 steps. That's really going to make this front entrance a lot more grand, especially after we remove that tree. All right, so the very last thing is that really it's all about communication. So one of the things I'm going to give you guys is a tech tip. One thing I like using a lot is an app that I downloaded off the App Store. It's called Wunderlist. And what allows me to do is allows me to put a to-do list, but I can actually I use it for all kinds of different projects. So I actually created a project called Yolanda, and I actually turn around and I share that list with the homeowner. So now I can actually assign tasks to him, assign them to me, and as I do them, he could see that I've completed them, and I also can see that he's completed his task. So every time we have these meetings, we put the list together. We don't write stuff down on a separate piece of paper and lose it. It's always updated real time, so that's something you guys might want to check out for yourselves. So I hope that's helpful. And more importantly, if there's certain tools that you use or apps that you use that help with the communication and the productivity on these types of projects, please in the comment section below indicate what apps you guys are using. We'd love to check them out, and I'm sure our viewers would as well. So again, thanks for watching, and if you find this helpful, make sure that you subscribe, and until next time, take care.